Hey there, JustProfessor here. You woke up this morning ready to crush your goals. By noon, you're scrolling through your phone instead of working. By evening, you're eating junk food even though you promised yourself you wouldn't. It's not that you're lazy. It's not that you don't care. Your willpower literally ran out, like a battery that died. And nobody told you it would happen. This is called ego depletion, and it's the reason you start every day strong and end every day weak. Your self-control isn't unlimited. Every time you resist a temptation, make a hard decision, or force yourself to focus, you're draining a resource that doesn't come back until you rest. And once it's gone, you're running on empty. You can't stick to your diet. You can't focus on work. You can't stop yourself from doing the things you said you wouldn't do. And the worst part? You blame yourself for being weak when the real problem is that you've been using willpower like it's unlimited when it's actually one of the most limited resources you have. So, what is ego depletion? It's the idea that self-control uses mental energy, and when you use too much of it, you run out. Think of it like a muscle. If you lift weights all day, your muscles get tired and you can't lift anymore. Same thing with willpower. If you resist temptations, make tough choices, and control your emotions all day, your willpower gets tired. And when it's tired, you lose control. Here's the problem. Nobody teaches you this. You grow up thinking willpower is about character. If you can't stick to your goals, you must be lazy or undisciplined. But that's not how it works. Willpower is a limited resource that gets used up throughout the day, and once it's gone, even the most disciplined person will struggle. Let me give you a real example. Researchers did a study where they put people in a room with freshly baked cookies and told half of them they could eat the cookies, and told the other half they had to eat radishes instead. Then they gave everyone an impossible puzzle to solve. The people who had to resist the cookies gave up on the puzzle way faster than the people who got to eat the cookies. Why? Because resisting the cookies used up their willpower, so they had less energy left for the puzzle. The cookie eaters still had a full tank of willpower, so they kept trying longer. This is happening to you every single day. You wake up with a full tank of willpower, then you have to resist hitting snooze. That uses some willpower. You have to force yourself to get out of bed. More willpower gone. You have to pick what to wear. More willpower. You have to resist checking your phone during work. Even more willpower. By the time you get home, your tank is empty. So when you tell yourself you're going to work out or eat healthy or work on that side project, you can't do it. Not because you're weak, but because you're depleted. And here's what makes this even worse. The more stress you're under, the faster you deplete. If you're dealing with a difficult boss, relationship problems, money stress, or health issues, you're burning through willpower just to stay calm and function. That leaves you with almost nothing left for your actual goals. So you end up feeling like a failure because you can't stick to your plans, but really, you've been fighting battles all day that nobody else can see. This also explains why diets fail. You start the day eating perfectly. You have willpower in the morning, so saying no to donuts at the office is easy. But by evening, after a long day of work, decisions, and stress, your willpower is gone. That's when you raid the fridge. That's when you order takeout. That's when you eat the entire bag of chips, and then you feel terrible about yourself and think you have no self-control. But it's not about control. It's about depletion. The same thing happens with productivity. You start the morning focused and motivated. You knock out tasks. You ignore distractions. But by the afternoon, you're scrolling social media, checking emails obsessively, and avoiding the hard work. That's not procrastination. That's ego depletion. You used up all your focus in the morning, and now there's nothing left. This even affects your relationships. You spend all day being polite at work, controlling your frustration, biting your tongue when people annoy you. By the time you get home, you have no patience left. You snap at your partner over something small. You yell at your kids. You get into arguments that you wouldn't normally have. It's not because you don't love them. It's because you're depleted. You used up all your emotional control at work, and there's nothing left for the people who matter most. Here's another way ego depletion shows up. Decision fatigue. Every decision you make throughout the day uses willpower. What to eat for breakfast, what to wear, which email to respond to first, what route to take to work. By the end of the day, you've made hundreds of tiny decisions and your brain is exhausted. That's why you can't decide what to have for dinner. That's why you default to the easiest option instead of the best option. Your decision-making ability is depleted. This is why successful people often wear the same thing every day. Steve Jobs had his black turtleneck. Mark Zuckerberg wears the same gray shirt. It's not because they don't care about fashion. It's because they understand ego depletion. They know that every decision drains willpower, so they eliminate unnecessary decisions to save their willpower for things that actually matter. But here's where this gets tricky. Some researchers have questioned whether ego depletion is even real. Some studies couldn't replicate the original findings. Some scientists think it's not about a limited resource, but about motivation and beliefs. If you believe your willpower is unlimited, you might not experience depletion as much. If you believe it's limited, you might give up sooner. So, what's the truth? Honestly, it's probably somewhere in the middle. Your willpower does get tired, but how tired it gets depends partly on what you believe and how motivated you are. If you care deeply about something, you can push through depletion. But if you're forcing yourself to do something you don't really want to do, depletion hits you way harder. Either way, the practical reality is the same. You can't maintain peak self-control all day long. You're going to have moments where your willpower is low, and if you don't plan for those moments, you're going to fail. So, how do you deal with ego depletion? How do you stop running out of willpower halfway through the day? First, you need to prioritize. If willpower is limited, you can't waste it on things that don't matter. Stop trying to do everything. Pick the 2 or 3 things that are most important to you and focus your willpower there. Everything else gets the leftovers. If your goal is to eat healthy, don't also try to wake up at 5 a.m., start a side business, and learn a new language all at the same time. You'll deplete yourself instantly and fail at everything. Second, reduce unnecessary decisions. The more you can automate or simplify, the more willpower you save. Meal prep so you don't have to decide what to eat every day. Lay out your clothes the night before. Create routines so you're not constantly making choices. Every decision you eliminate is willpower you can use for something that actually matters. Third, protect your willpower in the morning. Your willpower is highest when you wake up, so that's when you should tackle your hardest tasks. Don't waste your morning on easy stuff like checking emails or scrolling social media. Do the thing that requires the most discipline first, while you still have the energy for it. Fourth, rest and recharge. Sleep is the ultimate willpower reset. If you're not getting enough sleep, you're starting every day already depleted. You also need mental breaks throughout the day. You can't go full throttle for 8 hours straight. Take real breaks where you're not making decisions or exerting self-control. Let your brain recover. And finally, understand that some days you're just going to be depleted. You're going to have bad days where your willpower's gone by 10 a.m. That's okay. Don't beat yourself up. Don't spiral into guilt and shame. Just acknowledge that today is a low willpower day, do what you can, and reset tomorrow. Look, ego depletion is one of those concepts that changes how you see yourself. Because once you understand it, you stop blaming yourself for being weak. You realize that willpower is a resource, not a character trait. And like any resource, it can run out. The mistake most people make is treating willpower like it's infinite. They load up their day with a million things that require self-control, and then they're shocked when they can't follow through. But you wouldn't be shocked if you ran out of gas after driving all day without refueling. Willpower is the same. You have to manage it, protect it, and refill it. The truth is, you're not failing because you're lazy or undisciplined. You're failing because you're running on empty and expecting yourself to perform like you're fully charged. That's not realistic. That's not fair to yourself, and it's not how willpower works. So stop trying to be perfect all day long. Stop expecting yourself to resist every temptation. Make every right choice and stay focused for 12 hours straight. You can't. Nobody can. Instead, figure out what matters most, save your willpower for that, and let everything else slide. Because the goal isn't to never run out of willpower, the goal is to use it wisely before it's gone. If this made you realize why you're always tired by 3 p.m., subscribe.